I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy. Before I get started, don't forget to click the little subscribe button and the alarm bell so you get all the notifications on my upcoming projects. I always have a ton in the works, and I've got more coming. My project today is from Kies Motorsports and is their carbon fiber CS style trunk lip that I'm going to be putting on my 435. And I'm really excited to get this on. The very first change I made to my F32 right after I got it was to put on a trunk lip, and it was an M4 style that I got painted. It looked great and I've really enjoyed it, but that was long before I made any of the other decisions I was going to make regarding styling, and especially my C or CS style carbon fiber hood. So when I saw this carbon fiber CS style rear trunk lip, I knew I had to have it. It was absolutely fantastic. So this is an easy install. Now, this will also work if you have an OEM trunk lip as well. They're stuck down the same way. So the same process you can use whether you have the OEM or an aftermarket is just as good on the F series or the new G series. You're going to be good to go no matter how you come at it. So let's get out to the garage, let's check it out, and let's do this install and make a huge difference in your car too. All right guys, here we are out of the car. So this was put down with that 3M double-sided adhesive, very similar to what we're going to put the new one back on, right? So we need to get that pulled up and away from the car. We're going to use fishing line to cut it away. So as we look at this, and I'm going to put gloves on when I actually hold the fishing line. I want to run the fishing line underneath, and actually this is going even easier than I thought. I may not need gloves, but just kind of pull up, and I want to pull up because I don't want it to, I want the least amount of friction against the car. I want it all into the double-sided tape, okay? And then I'm just going to kind of work and work and work, and you can feel the tape starting to give way as it goes. So I'm going to work my way all the way across, and then this will come up, and it'll come off really easily. I really like this, and I like this when I put it on. This was, like I said earlier, the very first mod I put on my car was this tail, and I like it. But now that I've got my CS style carbon fiber hood and I'm doing carbon fiber accents like I have on my mirror, and I want to do this, the side vents as well, that this just made sense to me. Plus this new carbon fiber CS style that I got from Kies Motorsports had to happen. I saw it and instantaneously I had to get it. So just work this back and forth, and I'm just going to hold gloves so this doesn't cut at my fingers at all. Just pull up and away. Yeah, see, it just broke. This is 10-pound test. If I had a little bit stronger, I'd use it, but I'm just gonna keep working this and working it and working it down the car, and it'll work this tape away, and then I'll pull this up and away. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, as you can see, it's off. So you can see the pattern of the 3M double-sided adhesive that was on here before, right? Just two tracks. And I actually didn't put this on. When I had the spoiler painted, the shop that I had them painted for me, because I wanted it color matched, because at the time I was really going with all of the kind of metallic gray that my car is. I was like, can you put it on for me? And they're like, sure. So they used the same double-sided 3M tape that we're going to use on the new one. Now, as you can see, there's a fair amount left behind. There's a couple of different ways of coming at this. There's adhesive remover, which is like a spray that you can use. I'm a little hesitant to use that, because what I don't want that to do is to be all over my car and potentially strip blacks off or paint off, or whatever, right? I don't know if it's supposed to be used on painted surfaces, so I'm not going to do it. The other thing you can do is there is this cool little 3M adhesive wheel that you can get for your drill. It's very soft rubber, and it spins and it acts like your finger, because all you're doing is just going like this with your finger to get it off, right? Which you can do, which is probably what I'm going to do. But you can get one of those little 3M wheels that buffs the whole thing off. I almost bought one of those, and I looked it up. They're, $15, $20 for the wheel. And I came really close to buying it, but then I realized, I don't know if I'm ever going to use it again. I have no problem buying tools. I have no problem, knowing that I may use them again or use them in a different way. But that one, I was like, will I ever use it again? Probably not. So I'm going to do it a little bit longer, a little bit harder way. So what I'm going to do first is get all of this former adhesive off. You can see where the former spoiler was sitting. And then I'm going to clean this. I'm going to use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, get all the adhesive off, make sure it's nice and clean. This also is a chance that if you've picked up any scratches or anything, I've got a residue line right here where it was sitting. Now, the new one is going to sit a little bit differently. So this residue line, I'm going to want to make sure to get cleaned up really, really well before I put the new one on, right? It doesn't mean I couldn't do it later, because I believe it's going to be exposed. And I'll have the new spoiler up here, and I'll put it up here in a second. What I don't want it to do is partially stick down to the previous adhesive, right? So let's get this cleaned up and get it all cleaned off. Boy, it seems weird not to have it on. I'm so used to having it there. And then we're going to do the new one, and the new one is really fantastic. We're going to use the same 3M tape. I'll show you what it looks like to get that on, and then we're going to get it all put in place. So let me get this cleaned up, and we'll come back and see what it looks like with the new one. All right, so here we are, all cleaned off. All the adhesive is off. I've already made one quick pass with a little bit of detailing spray. You can use anything that you want. I've also got clay bar here as well. So you spray a little bit on the clay bar, kind of work it in. Don't have to use too much, but just enough to get any residue off. Yeah, and I can just see it coming right off, which is nice. So clay bar is a great thing. It's a great detailing tool if you have it handy. So like I mentioned, you can see it. You can see where it's picked up the residue. You just take it, mix it around. So I'm going to clay bar all the rest of this, wipe it down, and then use the isopropyl alcohol to make sure that I have all of the detailing spray off and have it be nice and perfectly clean for the fresh adhesive. So when I get there, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm using the same 3M double-sided mounting adhesive. I'm going to put it on the bottom of the track of the new spoiler, the new fin, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, here we are, all cleaned off. I definitely have a little bit of a scuff line right where the edge of the previous one was. And the good news is that the new trunk lip is going to cover almost all of it, with the exception of a little bit, on my car, a little bit right here in the corners. But I'm 100% confident my next detail day where I have my buffing wheel out, I'm gonna take that right off, because it's very, very light surface scuff. So I'm not worried about it. Here's the new one. I'm amazed, guys. This just looks so good. And like I said, is carbon fiber, is lighter, and is of the CS style, which is what my hood, that CS style, which my hood is. And so for me, it fits perfectly, especially when I've decided to go this carbon fiber accent route. So like I said, when I saw this from Kies Motorsports, I had to have it. And this is such a great upgrade. So whether you have an F30, F32, or any of the F30 series, and even the new G20s, because I saw Kies has new trunk lips for the G20s as well. So even if you have a factory spoiler on the back, you take it off the same way. It's not a cold day for me today, so I could have also used a heat gun to warm up that double-sided sticky. That's what the OEMs use as well. So it's really not any different. And then to use the fishing line. Though, on that note, I probably could have had 20-pound test, which would have been better than 10. I broke a fair amount of the 10, but it did the job. It just took me a little bit longer. Okay, let's take a look at what I've put on. So I will have listed in the video description this 3M double-sided adhesive that I'm using. You can see I've put it in 2 strips, one big long strip and another big long strip in the curve. It goes in this position. So this will be the top of the trunk here. This will be the more curved vertical part of the trunk. Now what I did also was I filled in pieces here. So I tried to make it contiguous straight lines as much as I could with the tape. So laid it down, and then up here in the corners where I wouldn't be able to cut that curve, I left it and then pieced in another piece and cut it down to fit. That way, and this is going to be overkill for this trunk lip. I mean, I could probably hold a 150-pound trunk lip on with this amount, but I want to make sure that there's no gaps. As you can see, through the whole thing, all the way to the other end, there's no gaps and it looks good all the way. Now, the other thing we're going to do is when you peel this off, you want to peel off a little bit of it, right? And I'm going to peel off a couple of, maybe 6 inches on either side. Now, I've got one piece here, so this whole piece will come off. But then from the long run, I'll peel the rest off. And I'll probably peel them off maybe even as much as a foot on both sides. So then I can turn it and I can put it into place. I'm going to use my fingers to measure on both sides of the trunk. It's going to sit just like that. As you can see, I don't have any of the adhesive off yet, so I can test fit. And man, that looks good. Oh, I'm so excited. This looks so good. So then when I'm peeling that off, I'll have that extra part peeled out. And so I'll do that a little bit, then I'll show you what it looks like kind of midway. So I'm going to peel back from the outside edges first and slowly pull and peel away and then adhere down. What I don't want to do is pull it all at once and then try to stick it all at once. This way it'll give me a little bit of adjustment as I put it on if I need to straighten just a little bit. And like I said, I can actually take my fingers and put it into the trunk lines on either side and just get that perfect fit. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So let me peel off the edges and I'll show you what it looks like as we start to place it down. All right, so here's what I mean about having, you know, the adhesive covering pulled off, right? I can slowly pull it away. Now, when I set this down on the trunk, I used the lightest pressure I possibly could to set it down. I mean, because that way I could put my fingers here and just get that little bit of alignment to make sure it's on straight. Okay, so then you can just slowly pull away like this with it in place. Just like that. So there's the top. Bottom stuck a little bit. We'll get that. There's the bottom. And then now I know it's completely on, nice and straight where I want it to be. And I'm just gonna press in place. Press it forward to get, you know, that line of adhesive that runs along the tail. And then I'm gonna press down on the top to make sure that it sticks down really, really well. And like I just said, I am so excited by this. It's gonna be a little bit lighter than my previous one, but I like the look. This is very much about going with that CS style look. And that looks so good. So as you can see, that fits down really, really well. Now the other thing I'm not gonna do today is, if you couldn't tell by road traffic going by, it's actually a little bit of a wet day. It's been off and on raining today. So I'm going to not drive my car today. I'd give it at least a few hours. In my case, I'm not gonna drive today at all. So my car is gonna sit in the garage for the rest of the day and make sure that all this whole line of adhesive has a good opportunity to sit down and adhere down completely. And I'm just applying medium pressure evenly to make sure that it's all the way across. Now, as you can see, when I had it reversed, I have two big double line tracks. I will say when I got my first trunk lip put on, I saw the material, you know, and like I said, it was the very first mod that I had for my car. I was like, that's gonna hold my trunk lip on? I was like, okay. But you know what? It did. Obviously, with the amount of effort it took to get it off. Because it's been on a couple of years now. But then this has two tracks that are easily twice as wide as the previous. So I have zero concerns about whether this is going to stay on or not. And already, yeah, fitment's really, really good. I got it right where I want it to be. It's even on both sides. So let me grab the camera now that we're on. Let me grab the camera, give you a chance to get a better look at it, get my view of what it looks like. And man, I could not be happier. This is such a great change. As always, everything I use, I put in the description of my videos, but here it is just in case. And this is that Scotch 3M double-sided mounting tape. It's rated up to 60 pounds, depending on how you lay it out. So yeah, it's more than enough. And this is also what I saw, and, you know, and getting this from Kies Motorsports, this is also what I saw them use as well on their couple examples. So let's take a look. Yeah. I could not be happier. This looks so good. And it's definitely a step in the direction I wanted to go. That notch style with that notch in the center sits a kind of around the curve of the trunk a little bit, where the previous one sat up on the trunk and had just a very, you know, was just above the curve. This hugs the curve a little bit. So this just looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, there you go. So you get a look at what the notch looks like. So I am super, super happy. I'm going to clean up, put my tools away, give it a chance for this to stick down, so when I take the car back out next time, there won't be any issues. But man, I tell you, I could not be happier with this. What a great product from Kies. I couldn't be more excited. All right, so all done. As you can see, it really just takes simple tools, just a little bit of time and some patience to make sure that you don't scuff up your paint or do anything that you're going to regret. You know, I'd probably use 20-pound test fishing line if I had it. I only had 10, so, you know, I'd kind of saw away at it and it would break, and I'd get some more and saw away at it and it would break. You know, if you had a little bit stronger, like 15 or 20 pound, I'm sure you could probably do it just in one pass. So take your time. The other hint that you can always use is a heat gun to heat up the glue or heat up that adhesive as well, and it'll make it come off even that easier. So as you can see, this makes a huge difference, and I am just really, really excited. I've had an opportunity to take the car out now, and I love the look. It puts a grin on my face every time I walk up. It matches the aesthetics of what I've done with the rest of the carbon fiber. It matches my kind of CS theme that I've got going on with the hood. So I'm really excited. Thank you to Kies Motorsports for making a fantastic product. They really are a great company to work with. So make sure to check them out. The link for the trunk lip will be in the description below. And I'll see you on my next project.